Fundamental rights. Article 16 to 46. Constitution of Nepal 2015. Article 16. Right to live with dignity. Every person has the inherent right to live with dignity. Prohibits the enactment of laws providing for the death penalty. Article 17. Right to freedom. Every citizen is to the following freedoms: freedom of opinion and expression, freedom of peaceful assembly, freedom to form political parties, freedom to form unions and associations, freedom of movement and residence in any part of Nepal, freedom to practice any profession, trade or business. Restrictions apply in cases involving sovereignty, security, public decency or morality. Article 18. Right to equality. All citizens are equal before the law and entitled to equal protection under the law. Prohibits discrimination based on origin, religion, caste, gender or other grounds. Special provisions allowed for the protection and development groups. Article 19. Right to communication. Freedom of publication, broadcasting and dissemination of information. Prohibits censorship except as prescribed by law. No disruption of media or communication services except by law. Article 20. Right to justice. Right to be informed of reasons for arrest and consult a legal practitioner. Right to a fair trial by an independent and impartial court. Protection against self-incrimination and double jeopardy. Indigent individuals have the right to free legal aid. Article 21. Right of the victim of crime. Victims have the right to information about the investigation. Right to justice, compensation and rehabilitation. Article 22. Right against torture. Prohibits physical or mental torture or cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment. Victims are entitled to compensation and punishment for offenders. Article 23. Right against preventive detention. Preventive detention allowed only when there is a threat to sovereignty, security or public peace. Detained individuals' families must be informed immediately. Compensation for unlawful detention is guaranteed. Article 24. Right against untouchability and discrimination. Prohibits untouchability and caste-based discrimination in public and private places. Offenders are liable for punishment and victims are entitled to compensation. Article 25. Right to property. Citizens have the right to acquire, own, sell and manage property. The state may requisition property for public interest with fair compensation. Provisions for land reforms and regulation are allowed. Article 26. Right to religion. Freedom to profess, practice and protect one's religion. Prohibition of forced conversion and acts disturbing public peace. Religious trusts and properties can be regulated by law. Article 27. Right to information. Citizens can demand and receive information of personal or public interest. Exceptions for information that threatens national security, privacy or confidentiality. Article 28. Right to privacy. Privacy of residence, property, communication and correspondence is inviolable. Exceptions only in accordance with the law. Article 29. Right against exploitation. Prohibits exploitation based on religion, custom or tradition. Prohibits human trafficking, slavery and forced labor. Victims are entitled to compensation and offenders are liable for punishment. Article 30. Right to a clean environment. Citizens have the right to live in a clean and healthy environment. Victims of environmental pollution or degradation are entitled to compensation. Article 31. Right to education. Right to free and compulsory education up to the basic level. Free secondary education is guaranteed. Special provisions for marginalized groups, including free higher education for the economically disadvantaged. Article 32. Right to language and culture. Right to use and preserve one's language, script and culture. Communities can open educational and cultural institutions to promote their heritage. Article 33. Right to employment. Citizens have the right to employment and choice of occupation, provision for unemployment benefits as per federal law. Article 34. Right to labour. Labourers have the right to fair wages, facilities and social security. Right to form trade unions and engage in collective bargaining. Article 35. Right to health, access from the state. Right to clean drinking water and sanitation. No one can be deprived of emergency health services. Article 36. Right to food. Citizens have the right to food security and protection from hunger. Right to food sovereignty in accordance with the law. Article 37. Right to housing. Every citizen has the right to appropriate housing. No one can be evicted from their residence except by law. Article 38, rights of women, equal lineage rights and prohibition of gender-based discrimination, right to safe motherhood and reproductive health, protection against violence and exploitation with provision for compensation, proportional inclusion in state bodies and special opportunities in education, health and employment. Article 39, rights of the child, right to name, identity, education and proper care, protection against child labour, trafficking and forced recruitment, special protection for children with disabilities, orphans and conflict victims. Article 40, rights of Dalits, proportional representation in state bodies, free education with scholarships and special provisions for health and social security, state obligation to provide land to landless Dalits and housing to homeless Dalits. Article 40, rights of senior citizens, right to special protection and social security from the state. Article 42, right to social justice, right to participate in state bodies based on inclusive principles, special opportunities for marginalised and disadvantaged communities in education, health and employment. Article 43, right to social security, indigent citizens, helpless single women, persons with disabilities and endangered communities are entitled to social security. Article 44, rights of consumers, right to quality goods and services. Right to compensation for harm caused by substandard goods or services. 45, right against exile. No citizen shall be exiled from the country. Article 46, right to constitutional remedy. Citizens can seek judicial enforcement of fundamental rights through writs.